Hadi Choopan Arnold Classic 2024 versus Nick Walker Arnold Classic 2023. There are poses that are quite difficult to judge between these two, so let's start with the easy ones first. Front lat spread, Nick Walker's weakest pose, but for Hadi one of the strongest, and we can see here why. The pictures are as clear as they can get. I don't want to bore you with details, this is a 3-point decisive win for Hadi Choopan. Next, let's check out the pose that is considered Hadi's worst, the back double biceps. Mirroring the previous pose, this is one of Nick's strongest ones. And we can see there's not such a big difference between them as in the other pose. Granted, Nick is still winning, but Hadi holds his own. Nick has the better and more importantly a defined back. He's better through the limbs as well, so this is a solid 2-point win for him. Nick has the better back, right? Wrong. Hadi destroys him in the back lat spread pose. I don't know how the Persian wolf does that, but his back just transforms in this other back pose. This is the best back lat in the world today, better than Derek's in my opinion. Nick's back is pretty good too, maybe he doesn't really get destroyed here, but he does get beaten. He's more narrow and seems to have less density on that back. This is a 2-point win for Hadi. So these were 3 easier poses. Before we get to the 3 poses that could go either way between these two, there are also the side chest and the most muscular. These 2 poses are difficult to judge between these two because one is clearly winning the chest and the other one is clearly winning the guns, the arms and shoulders. These being the crucial focal points of both poses. Side chest first, Hadi has the advantage downstairs, not big but he's got the better outer quad. But Nick doesn't have a weak side leg either. When it comes to the upper body, Hadi's pointy shoulders become exposed against Nick's big round ones. And the same goes for the biceps and triceps. Nick has the better insertions. It's like Hadi's bones are not completely covered by muscle like in Nick's case. As for the chest, Hadi has the better chest indeed, but I feel like he doesn't have the same full popping chest that he had a few years ago. Nick's chest is one of the only weaker body parts for him for sure. Overall, I think Nick has the slight advantage when you take everything into consideration. It's a subtle win, a 1-point win for him. Most muscular pose, if this was a few years ago, this would be a no-brainer, but Hadi improved this pose to the point it's considered one of his strongest ones now, especially when we count out the arms. If we count them out, this is potentially the best in the world. But those arms and shoulders are holding him back big time, especially against a guy like Nick, who has the best guns in the world today. Nick doesn't have the chest striations, but overall he destroys Hadi's upper body, especially because he too has great defined abs. Lower body Hadi is better indeed, but it's not enough for him. Same story in the other pose variations. This is a 2-point win for Nick in my opinion. Next is the side triceps. On paper this pose should be an easy win for Nick, right? But side by side with Hadi, the Persian wolf looks so good too. Hadi has the better structure because Nick tends to be upper body heavy. It's noticeable even in this pose, but man, the mutant does such a great job here. Great display, great midsection, great conditioning. Yeah, it hasn't been mentioned, but it's a no-brainer. Both athletes are in impeccable conditioning. This is bodybuilding. Back to the pose, what sets Nick apart is the actual lateral head of the triceps, which is the focal point in the pose. But only because Hadi looks so good on his own, this is only a 1-point win for Nick. Abs and thighs is next, and we know Hadi is the best in the world. Let's just ignore Andrew Jack, okay? He's a special case. Back to our guys, Nick is the only guy in the IFBB today that can stand toe to toe with Hadi in this pose because he too is dry to the bone and has deep cut abs. What sets Hadi apart from him though is actual superior definition in the abs, especially in the obliques, also a tighter overall waist and better quad sweeps. All that combined with superior proportions makes this a 2-point win for Hadi. Before the last pose, Hadi leads on points and Nick leads on poses. What's gonna be? Front double biceps. This is a tough one. Before you point out Nick's superior arms, let me show you why Hadi has his own case to win. Boom! The proportions. Hadi's overall proportions are so underrated in this pose, especially next to Derek Lansford, but that's a subject for another video. Nick's proportions are off. This was probably the main reason he didn't win the Arnold last year. I mean, the judges' excuse because I thought he should have won the show, but anyway. Compared to Hadi, it's obvious, but when we look at those biceps, which after all are the focal point in this pose, and considering aside from being a bit upper body heavy, Nick doesn't have any weakness in this pose, I think I'm gonna go with him here. A 1-point win because Hadi is so good too. Nick wins the comparison. On points it's a tie, but he wins more poses, 5-3. Nick is a master of the mandatories. Do you agree with this result?